I came from Italy
Right.
in 1937.
Right. From where in Italy?
Rimini is the province. I started in a factory in Italy. I made my own accordion at 11 years old.
Really? And how did that happen? Why?
Button accordion with in the tubs behind the factory. We used to go and sneak for this or that, little piece of celluloid and so on. It's a long story.
That's fine.
And I came to this country to work for the Galanti brothers at 783 Broadway. And I was there 3 days, and he gave me $3.50. 3 days. So I go home on Saturday afternoon, and my father says, "Did Mr. Galanti pay you?" I said, "Yes, Pop." He said, "What did he give you?" And this is what he gave me. He says it's equivalent to almost $3 in Italy. You know, it would be almost 100 liras. So my father says, "No, I'd rather you stay home. It cost you more to get the subway, the bus, the subway, and eat." He says it cost you more than $5 every day. He says, "Stay home." In the meantime, while we were talking, I get a telegram from Excelsior. They were located at 333 6th Avenue. And Mr. Pancari, Gisto Pancari, said, "Well, my brother is the president, Robert Pancari." He says, "Talk to him and see what he wants to do with you, because we need a fellow like you, young fellow." So I says, "What would you like for me to do?" "Well," he says, "concentrate on tuning, because we are lacking. We have a fellow from Italy, Giulio Lucconi, that he wants to go back to Italy. And he left his family to be here to help us out, but we need a steady man. And I could tell you we would like to try you, and tell me how much money you want to make." I says, "I don't want to make nothing until you try me." This was 1937, November the 21st to the 22nd. I arrived by ship on November 18th. So he says, "Well, I like the way you talk to me." He says, "You want us to try you?" And my first salary for Monday, I wanted the room made certain way for the sound, train. There was the 6th Avenue train coming around the curve right near Excelsior. And I said, "I can take this and do the right job with the snows. I want a real sound room, studio room." And so they took all day. They some board, they put up a lot of work. And the following day, which was on Tuesday, I started to work for them, and I worked until Saturday 1 o'clock. Because that's the quitting time, at 1 o'clock. On Saturday, those days. And I find that my salary was, I went home to my father, he opened the envelope. He didn't want to do it, but He says, well, if you want me to do it. He opened it up and he found $124.24. This did not include Monday. So my father had tears in his eyes. This is the God's honest truth. With these tears in his eyes, he says, Pop, I says, why are you crying? He says, son, do you know that I had to work 3.5 days overtime to make $42 a week, otherwise it's 38? That's what he told me. In the meantime, on Monday of the following week, I went down to Excelsior again, and he says, now this week you have all week you will find some improvement in your salary. I says, thank you. What else could you say? I went to work on Monday, and I worked until Saturday afternoon again. I went home with this brown envelope sealed, and I went home. And my father said, Pop, this is my pay. You want to open it? No, he says, you open it up. I don't want to bother. I know how you feel, the way you were brought up. We used to bring everything. My father was here, and my mother was in Italy. I brought everything to the house, all the time. That we were used to do that. So, make the story short, the second week I find $186.35. 186 with the Social Security taken out and everything. My father, he started to cry. He says, I can't believe it. He says, I got to work a month to get what you get in a week. I was the highest pay at Excelsior in 1937, and this lasted for almost 10 years. Then the owner said to me, he says, I want you to become my partner of Excelsior. No, I says, I would like to try by myself. And I opened a little caboose, maybe half of the size of this room, with a jigsaw and table saw and a buffer, and we started to make accordion, me and Emil Baldoni. I had the name Ace. I wanted to make an Ace accordion, like I wanted to make a good accordion. And sure enough, and when we were working together, maybe about a year and a half, in order to bring the walnut, the boards, we used to get big boards as long as from here to the end of the chair in the walnut family, or in the pine, or in the maple, mahogany, and the plywood made out of mahogany, USA mahogany. And we used to go up the stairs. We were on the 3rd floor. On the stairs that it was rounded with that railing going up and going up like a, what do you call this?
Like a corkscrew.
Like a corkscrew, exactly. And to bring the wood up, or if it was too extra long, we either had to cut it downstairs in half, or bring it up with a rope from the window, and then bring it into the and I lasted about 4 or 5 years with Emil Baldone. At the end he says, I know you have the name register Ace Accordion. He says, what do you want? I says, Emil, no less than $2,000 between the lawyer, I said, you gotta give me $2,000. He says, I don't have it. I'll give you $1,500. Emil Baldone is dead. He still got to give me that $1,500. But unfortunately, I felt so bad for him that I was leaving him, and I said, I want to start another company, better than Ace. Well, how can I do it? And I started the Bell Accordion. And then Chicago Musical Instrument heard about Bell. They want a national distribution. And then they want us to become partner with them. And we lasted about a year and a half. After a year and a half, he says, Chicago Musical Instrument says, there's only one thing to do here. We are making accordions and you're losing $250 by making such a good accordion. And he says, either I'll buy you out or you buy me out. And we bought Chicago Musical Instrument out. And I became the sole boss of the American-made Bell Accordion. Excelsior sent in a professional player to buy a bell, put in the order, the $500 deposit and everything else. And he also said, if you wish to keep making this accordion, he says, you better be on your own. Mr. Berlin of Chicago Musical Instrument. I says, yes, I want to make an accordion that the price is right. I don't want to become a millionaire. I'm rich just to see a good accordion be made. And I did. And I succeeded. And he took that accordion, he took it to Italy, Excelsior, and I saw it in a factory in Italy. I said, what is this doing here? It was on a shelf with all the rest of them, so they could copy it.
Right.
Okay? Scandali Super 6. I designed so much work onto that accordion. It took 2 days. Oh, we were there about 20 days. But it took 2 days just for me to get all the formants put together and write down notes where I would find a defect. The Super 6 Scandali was designed by me.
Wow.
And the quarter wax was designed by me and another fellow that used to work for me. Quarter wax.
I know the quarter box.
Chicago Musical Instruments sold on the average of 25 quarter waxes a week. Minimum. Minimum. They sold even up to 95, 100.
Right.
Then I came out with the Bell Duo wax. After we had nothing to do with Chicago, and they called us to bring a model to them that they were interested and request of the public. We made a good accordion and decent electronic, but the quarter wax was, to my opinion, it was better because it was based on the Lowry organ those days. Okay. But we made a good accordion, more portable, played better, good microphone, nothing cheap. Nothing cheap. And we were successful, very successful.
What's your full name?
Aldo Mencaccini.